Who has the bigger fumble, Liddell or JD?
Oh man, this is hard.
Is it though?
It's not really.
It's not. JD's still JD.
The Lindell definitely
But
had.
Lindell's still Lindell. Don't do that.
No, Lindell's not Lindell.
Lindell got the burgers going crazy.
Lindell's not Lindell.
Got the burgers going crazy.
I'm just laughing because
New Rory and Mal.
Welcome to a new episode of the New Rory and Mal podcast. I am Mal.
I'm Rory.
And today we are with you guys with it's a family day, Rory.
It is.
I feel like, we're in your home. We need to make it a little family day, man. Catch up with some of our family. Today we're joined by the legendary how do I introduce these guys?
The actual guy that was in the Beverly Center hand in
Yes.
hand, not caring who saw him.
Yes.
The real one.
Yes, the inspiration, the motivation behind the story behind Usher's words. Today we are joined with legendary singer, songwriter, and just a cool all around guy, man. We are joined by Bryan Michael Cox. How you doing?
I'm good. What's up, man?
Oh yeah, and Justice is here too.
Oh yeah, and Justice is here. Justice. How about that? Y'all know Justice.
Our
Justice,
friend.
Mr. Cool Pants. Justice.
outside.
First of all, Just before we get into this, congratulations, man, with
Thank you.
LVRN and everything y'all doing over there.
Thank
you know,
you.
man, we support y'all. We love y'all. We love everything
I
y'all doing.
appreciate it. Congratulations to y'all. But, that's why we're here.
Well, thank
It's,
you.
Bryan Michael Cox.
Listen,
you know,
today it just
he's
feels like
not down with
the
the fans.
air feels legendary today.
Yeah.
It's a successful scent. I don't know if that's a potpourri, Rory, but it smells like success in here. It smells like success. It smells like a lot of Grammys.
Yeah.
It smells like a lot of black excellence today, Rory. You know what I mean? I know you're black by association, but today,
Still Black History Month, isn't it?
yeah, it's still Black History Month, obviously, and we're here with some history makers and just a great part of.
Even though Justice is a history maker, calling him a history maker.
Brian is a history maker too.
But that's solidified. I'm talking about just saying it's
It's
a
nasty
Justice.
work. For me, it's nasty work.
I can't call
It
you a
feels
history
weird.
maker.
It's nasty
What
work.
would you like me to call you, Justice?
Just a guy.
Just a guy?
Yeah.
All right, fuck it. My guy's here.
Am I your favorite Rory? Because I know it started LVRN.
Oh, yeah. For
Do you
sure.
talk to me more than you talk to the other
Absolutely.
Rory? I feel good. I feel better now.
It's nasty work.
So today, man, we sitting here kicking it with our guys. First of all, Brian, one thing I didn't know about you that I found out recently, you broke a record held by the Beatles.
Yeah.
You gotta walk, Brian. We're not gonna do this cool, humble shit today, man. You know, when you break a record held by the Beatles, you supposed to just be walking around like chest hairs out. You know what I mean? Like gold chains on. You just walking around chilling. You know.
Or do what Drake did and tattoo the Beatles on you.
Yeah. You ain't even do that.
Nah, it was crazy because when it happened, I was like I was 5 years into my career at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like 6 years, and I remember I got my first hit record, and I was like, "Yo, you know what? I don't ever want to be off the charts. Like whatever that feeling was, you get your first like top 5.
Addicted to it.
You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I saw my name in Billboard, and I was like, okay, I'm never coming off of this chart.
Mm-hmm.
And literally for 5 years straight, it was like I had like multiple songs, like 20 songs, 30. Like it was crazy.
That's insane.
You know what I'm saying?
That's insane. That's
What's
a
the
stat.
record?
Well,
Let the people know.
It was the 5 years consecutive
on the charts.
On the charts.
Yeah, so
the
it was
Beatles held that record.
they held it. The Beatles held that record. It was 5 years, and then I beat the record. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, so
Nice.
it's like a thing.
See, I don't know, Justice. You ain't know that?
Nah.
See, you might have been able to negotiate your deal.
Yeah,
with
a little
LVRN.
different, right?
Yeah, like,
I
oh,
should've
by
added
the way,
that.
the Beatles, they're second to me. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, it's funny though because I didn't know they did this thing for they did this performance thing for me in Atlanta, and it was like the day that it broke, and I didn't know, and they gave me a day and the whole thing, and they gave me this big old plaque like, oh, you broke the Beatles record. I was like, yo, this is crazy, and I don't even think I felt the heaviness of it at the time. It was years later when I realized like, oh, I'm tripping. You know what I mean? I should have really.
You so submerged in
I
what
should've
you're
really-
doing, you don't really look at the scoreboard. You like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I did.
I should have just, I should have amplified that a little more. but-
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Breaking the Beatles record is just like he's just chilling. Look at him.
I broke a Beatles record.
They would never stop hearing that.
Literally.
Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, my name is Bryan Michael Cox. Yeah, Beatles second to me. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I did that.
Introducing you away, that's sick.
Yeah, I'm Brian, and the Beatles are second to me. Don't worry about it.
With everyone selling their catalogs now, have you thought about what your publishing would be valued at? Has that crossed your
I've
mind?
done analyticals, you know what I mean? But the first thing really was unraveling deals that I was in. You know what I mean? I had a partnership with Warner Chappell for a long time, and then I was able to get out of that deal, and I did a partnership with another company, Avex, when it was brand new. And the deal was a little vague, a little, you know what I mean? You know, when you're the guinea pig of a deal, you know, it wasn't as clear as like my deals with Warner Chappell were.
Yeah.
And so I had to do a lot of unraveling. In the midst of me unraveling, you know, that deal and becoming a free agent, I've done a lot of like analytical stuff and figured out what the publishing looks like. You know what I'm saying? What the value looks like. I'm in a space where I would never sell 100% of it though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like people.
Why is that?
Just I'm weary about it. You know what I mean? I've been in this business a long time, and I've seen, you know, I've seen things, you know, trends happen. Yeah, and I'm weary about like everybody is trying to scoop up catalogs. Yeah, like it's a reason. Like people are starting hedge funds to scoop up people who don't know nothing about music business.
They're investing in LVRN.
You know, so wow.
Yeah, so, you sit next to the Illuminati.
Wow.
He's quiet now, huh?
Shout out Matt Pincus, man.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, so for
family.
me,
he's a big fan of me.
It's funny. For me
personally, music family. You know what? You're a nasty man.
Go ahead.
For me personally, it's
Cash out.
I'll do half. I would sell half of it.
But you want to keep something.
I want to keep something because I want to make money when y'all make money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know, we could be partners. We can make money together.
But why do you think that so many artists and songwriters and producers are selling their catalogs?
It's a big, you know, it's a big check. You know, if you feel like, you know, like you take like a person who's like a legacy person like Dr. Dre who just sold his catalog, right? But I mean, but Dr. Dre's already got so much money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And those songs, we're talking about NWA, Michelle A, DLC, songs that are 30, 40, you know what I mean? Yeah. Years old, you know, they've probably seen the actual peak of what they will probably make. You know what I'm saying?
I was very surprised when I saw The Dream sell his.
He was one of the first.
Yeah. And that's why I was like,
but I think
there's like stuff landing out of the sky.
We're close to
like, so we're right
like
there.
we're close to like
those are ancestors.
That's the Chinese balloons.
Yeah.
That's what's
like,
above.
I will cash out and go get the spread.
And do what though? If they
might as well live it up while you can.
Live it up, but also
I think The Dream was doing okay. I think he was
but like
he's doing really okay now.
Yeah. Like he's doing a lot
really
better.
Okay now.
I don't know what's gonna look like next year.
Yeah.
I just think that people are, because of the way artists get paid from streaming now. I think that I don't know how much you can be able to monetize records because now it's getting lower and lower for the artists and the songwriters, like what they're making off of these records. So it's like I think that they feel like, let me just sell my catalog to one person so that I can always go to just one person. I don't have to go through all these loops and these circles to get my money and all of this. If I ever want to go back and buy it myself, that may be an option. Because I know The Dream, like he sold what he's worked on already.
Yeah.
But now he has more shit coming down.
Everything new is his. You know?
Right. So it's like, I kind of feel like, let me just put all my shit right here. And then one day, if I want it again, I have to just go through one person to get it back.
Well, I mean, when a tech company is now valuing what a song is worth money-wise, that could change tomorrow. It's nothing's set in stone. So let me go liquidate all this shit. Yeah. We've heard all the horror stories of artists in publishing and artists and labels and everything. As a songwriter, what are some of the nasty music industry tricks when it comes specific to writers?
It's interesting. You might have an artist who's not a songwriter who, because they're a big artist, they want publishing, which I think that trend started started when I got into the business. That trend actually started. And there's no problem with it. You know, I didn't see any issues with that. You know, if I'm going to get on a Beyonce album, you know what I mean? I don't see an issue with that. But I think that there's some artists, who are coming up, who try to make that a standard, and it's like that's for you know, you leave that for the artists that are, you know, at, like top tier. You know what I mean? Also the whole, you know, it's always nasty when, you know, you're going through certain producers who may not be like creative. You know what I mean? They may just be the people who can put the talent together, and then you have to really explain to the talent, yo, I'm producing from outside of this space. I'm producing the producers. Yeah. And a lot of times people can not understand what that really means and can take it personal when they don't get like top line credit. You know what I mean? But I mean, you know, this business has not been. It's been great to me. You know what I'm saying? I've been able to really be associated with a lot of really solid people. Yeah. You know what I mean? When I came into the business. Yeah. And it's been great to me. You know what I'm saying? You know, dealing with everybody I've dealt with. I've dealt with everybody. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody has their different stories. But me personally, you know, I can't say I made a bad deal. I would say the most recent deal was what I made with Avex was probably my worst deal I made, and that was just because I was just trying something. I was experimenting something, so I knew I was kind of going into something, not really knowing what the experience other side was going to be. You know what I mean?
So you born and raised in Houston, right?
Born in Miami.
Born in Miami,
raised in Houston.
Raised in Houston, Texas. You worked with Beyonce early. Yeah. On her first demo.
Yeah. Well, no, I can say that. The real story is they worked with me on my first demos. Like they were already like signed. They just got signed to Columbia, and Beyonce and LaToya were students at my high school. I went to a high school for visual arts in Houston. And I was a senior. They were freshmen. Okay, and we knew them before that. I knew them when they were younger because they were in this group called Girls Time, and they were really popular around Houston. And we used to do these competitions together, called the People's Workshop. Yeah. Okay, and you know all the young musicians and groups used to do all these competitions, and that's where we all kind of connected at a young age. So when it came to our school, we were already acquainted with each other, already knew each other, and they knew that I was writing songs and producing or whatever like that. So it was Beyonce and LaToya that would tell their dad like, hey, you know, we don't work with Bryan, we work with our friend. You know what I mean? And that's how that relationship started.
Did you know, like, could you tell then that they were going to go on to be what they are?
Yeah, it was the most talked about thing in the city. And they didn't really do much, you know, like, besides those little performances they would do for the People's Workshop. It was still a mystery, you know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause they would go to Oakland and work with Dwayne Wiggins. They would sign Dwayne Wiggins. They would go and work, you know, Tony. They would go off to Oakland and work with him. They go to Atlanta, work with Dal Simmons. So it was really a mystery, you know what I mean? And I was privy to a lot of that information early on because we had gotten close, and my mom would let me call them long distance when they would be when they'd be out of town, you know what I mean? And they would play songs over the phone, and you know what I mean, bring songs back. And that was really the gateway for me to know that it's actually possible. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like something that was like when you're 16 years old, you know, 17 years old, and it's like a dream, you know what I mean? And then you have friends and it's tangible, and they're bringing music back, and that's back from producers that you read on credits, and it's like, yo, this is ill. I can actually go do this. You know what I mean? I always give credit where credit's due when it comes to Matthew Knowles and Knowles family, and like always, because that family showed me that it was like, no, this is tangible.
It's possible.
This is real.
Is there any standout memories from those sessions? Like yes. The early ones?
Early ones. So I was in a collective as a producer by the name of Greg Curtis, who's my mentor. Very early on, took me under his wing. Down the line, Greg Curtis ended up writing and producing Love for Keisha Cole. And I remember, and he's like a really, really one of the most talented people that I've ever encountered. It was him, and there was another guy named Teron Mitchell who was in a group called Groove You. It was a really popular group in Houston. And one of my best friends who's passed away, a guy named Scooby, we were like trying to be like a production team. You know, this was in the 90s, production team was like really popular. We were trying to be a production team. So when they were trying to do like these songs, you know, when we call about the songs, like, yo, we went and made some songs. They came to the studio. Well, Matthew came to the studio first. Matthew came, it was in the middle of like a thunderstorm, hurricane or something. We was at the studio, he came, we played him the songs. He was like, oh, okay, y'all little niggas got something, you know? Yeah. And then he went back, we made the session happen. Tina brought the girls over. And we, you know, I remember it was like the first time I was like directing a vocal, you know what I mean? And these are my friends, so it felt easy initially, but then I never really seen Beyonce or seen him or Kelly, seen him work in the studio. Yeah. You know, you just go to the show, you know, you root for them, you know, whatever, but I never seen the process. You know what I mean? Yeah. Them and they were so already polished in the studio, like it was unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like you throw anything at them and it was just like, got it. And I was like, oh, this is okay, this is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we knew early on those girls were going to be stars. And we knew that Beyonce was going to be a star. Yeah, she was always humble, but she was silent with it. She was a silent assassin. She opened her mouth. He was like, oh, shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was young. They were like 12,
Damn.
you know? 12, 13 at that time. So them being that young and that polished.
Yeah.
This is before the album, before, you know what I mean? I've never seen nothing like that. Outside of maybe Bow Wow. Bow Wow's probably only the kid that I worked with was like 11. And Bow was like a monster. You know, giving him, like Brad wrote the second verse to Bounce With Me, and I was concerned.
Yeah.
Because it's so fast. You know what I mean? She's double time. And Bow was like 11, ate that shit like one take.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? We was doing 3 songs a day with him.
Were you compromised in the divorce of Destiny's Child? Once they broke up?
There's a lot that happened behind that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was working with Jagged Edge at the time.
Yeah.
And so I got a bird's eye view to, you know, and because of the girls were my friends, Brian and Brandon are obviously my guys. And we all know Matthew. And Matthew was very ambitious and he was very no nonsense. You know what I mean? He talked plenty shit, but he was about his, you know, he was about his shit. He was about that business. And he wasn't gonna let anybody disrupt that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so as soon as the disruption started, like, was gonna happen, next thing you know, it's like I own the name. It was like he made that shit happen so fast, you know. And next thing we know, they was out. Latoya and Latavia were out, and Michelle and Farrah were in. And
do we, as the public, did we get the real breakup reason for Destiny's Child?
What was the breakup reason that the public got?
Some bullshit, like, oh, creative differences or something like that.
Okay, so no, what happened was,
there's that viral clip of Beyonce telling her, like, yo, you could just like pack your bags later, like you should leave.
Wow. Yeah, I think
it's one of the funniest videos. Like, we could just ship you like your luggage. You could you get on a plane now if you want.
I think there were layers of it. I think that, you know, they were all kids. You got parents involved.
Yeah.
You know, Matthew is the mastermind, you know, but the other parents feel like they want to be involved.
They want some say.
They want their kids to have a voice and this, that, and the third. And when you get kids and parents living vicariously through their kids, there's always going to be some clash. You know what I mean? And they were big when the clash happened. They were on the second album. Yeah. No was a platinum single. They were on the second album. Those records was going out the roof. They right as well. They 10 million. You know what I mean? So the clash couldn't have happened at a more like pivotal point. You know what I'm saying? Where the parents like want a stake in the, you know, want their kids to have a, you know, be this their group too.
Yeah.
You know?
We don't look back at that split enough because that was kind of like,
it was wild.
Yeah, and it kind of felt like, remember when Fresh Prince rolled in the new Aunt Viv and she was like a light-skinned lady?
Yeah.
Like, it was like, what is this? Like,
are you calling Michelle Aunt Viv?
No. I'm definitely not doing that. But it felt like it was just a whole different aesthetic.
Nobody said anything. It was like the fucking video came on. It was like, who are these two girls?
That's what I'm saying.
It was like, what the hell happened?
Especially that first album. How much did it sell? The first album.
The first album, I think it ended up going platinum.
There's
two times platinum. Like the first album, I think, yeah.
There's like 4 diamond records on that shit. And then just the next album is a whole new group.
Oh, we talking about the second album. The first album is no. The second album is Right as Well when it changed. Then all of a sudden, Survivor comes and it's like,
yeah.
Who are
and that was when it was 3, right?
Like,
Survivor was just 3 of them?
Yeah, there was 3 of them. Yeah. It was 3. At that point, because Farrah was in and out. They got Farrah up out of there quick.
And then she had like a sex tape scandal or something.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was something crazy.
It was something. It was some. I remember like that was. I mean, that was a long time ago. If we talking now, but like I remember just thinking back, like it was a lot of weird shit going on. Like, yo, what the fuck is going on right now?
Then Beyonce did the hip hop opera Carmen.
Yeah.
Carmen's underrated.
Great. That's a great MTV production
and great soundtrack.
Yeah.
There's a Mos Def and Beyonce song on there where she's rapping. With Mos.
Crazy. She was fighting Temptations after, you know, Beyonce's star just was consistently going up.
That happened after like the what was it? Miss Independent. What was it?
Yeah, the Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels. Like, after that was like, all right, we know what Beyonce.
That group was destined though. That group was destined, and Beyonce was destined. Like it was it was so crazy because she's always been one of the nicest people. Like you ever like to this day, she's one of the sweetest people you meet, right?
Yeah.
And she was so sweet in high school, and people still didn't like her.
That's that's
sweetest people.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're you know how it is in high school. Pretty girl, light skinned, talented. All the boys probably like her.
Every nigga in the school like her.
Which means all the girls are not gonna like her. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're pretty girls and they're not insecure.
Yeah.
You know how it is in high school. It's that's just how it goes.
Speaking of viral videos with Beyonce, there's the photo of Beyonce and her boyfriend from high school, and like the meme is like the number one ball dropper of all time.
Lindo.
Did you know this gentleman personally?
I did. I know him well.
What's his name?
His name is Lindo.
Damn, Lindo.
I've known Lindo for a long time.
Have you ever had that conversation with?
He wasn't destined to win.
Don't do that to Lindo.
Lindo?
I mean, yeah, Lindo. A name like Lindo, you got to either be very athletic,
Yeah.
No, he was.
or you got to be.
He was really popular though. He was popular. You know, he was definitely in the sports. He was
Okay.
he was a popular kid.
When was the last
cheated
time
on her?
He cheated on Beyonce.
Yeah.
It was high school.
What's wrong with him? What's wrong with Lindo?
Yeah.
So Lemonade was technically about Lindo. It wasn't about Hove.
Oh.
Definitely wasn't about
Yeah,
Lindo.
my bad.
I like
She
that.
played the
Definitely
long
wasn't
game.
about Lindo.
When was the last time you ran into Lindo?
It's been a long time. Early on,
I can't believe we're talking about Lindo.
No,
it's funny.
listen, this whole shit went viral, and no one has ever talked about this dude. He went to high school with him.
Yeah, every year.
No, I didn't go to high school with him. We grew up in the same neighborhood.
Gotcha, okay.
He went to the neighborhood high school. I went to Permanente High School, which was a special school, but he went to he went to school with like my friend, like my boy Sean, who was like my right hand man right now. Like I got a bunch of friends my neighborhood kids that went to the neighborhood school, and he went to Westbury, you know what I mean, which is a popular school in Houston, the Southwest side, and I would see Lindo all the time, especially like when we first as teenagers, but when I started making it in the music business and I would come home, I would see him a lot.
Yeah.
Because he was still kind of in the mix. Like he was still kind of.
Well, when you dated Beyonce. I mean,
But him, like this is like, early on in our career in late 90s, they were still dating. You know, it was off and on, but it was still a thing. So I would see him, all the time when I would go to Houston and just randomly see him. It's been a long time I've seen him.
You know he be in the barbershops getting his shit off. You know he be getting his shit off. He like Al Bundy. You know Al Bundy?
Did you see
Or do you
Lindo?
think he's dead quiet about
Let me
this
see
shit?
him.
Wait, did you see the updated version?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember with the
Oh
hat.
yeah, nah.
He's currently a chef.
Yeah, but Lindo, I mean, from what I hear, he's married, he's got kids.
I'm pretty sure Lindo is. I mean,
he's doing well.
Listen,
from
he
what I
dated
hear.
Beyonce. He knows that was the one that got away. Obviously,
Do you remember his girlfriend after Beyonce?
No,
Okay.
nobody
like when he showed
nobody did.
When he showed up to the party the
That's
next
the
day.
whack part, but it's like, yo,
Nah.
fans, like every time you bring your new girl around
joint,
the homies,
you're
they're like, yo, we supposed to be in Turks, homie. Like,
joint. We supposed to be
like you
Turks.
cheated on Beyonce.
We supposed to be in
We
Turks.
supposed to be in Turks. Like you know the homies is on Lindo neck to this day. Like, yo,
Yeah.
you cheated on. Like how you cheat on B?
Yeah,
Like you idiot. Like you gotta kill your homie forever behind that.
yeah.
You know, like when she headlined Coachella, it was like, yo, y'all trying to go to the desert this weekend? Y'all trying to link at Coachella?
yeah, Lindo. He's a good guy though. It was just kids. They were children.
Yeah, that's
you
all
know?
it was, man. But the internet does find a way every year to.
Oh yeah, every year it's gonna come back.
Shout out to Lindo, man.
But shout out to Lindo, man. And we hope that he's chefing it up somewhere in Texas.
Yeah, I
shrimp
haven't
and
seen him in a long
grits.
time, but do you?
All right, to fast forward a little bit, because I know Justice is getting antsy.
Yeah.
When he doesn't talk or yell or give an insane take,
Whoa!
I can tell
Tell him
he
how
gets
you really
uncomfortable.
feel, bro.
How did this come together? This partnership, B Cox, LVRN.
It's so funny. We were talking about it 2 days ago, but it started during the division sessions.
Okay.
Like obviously, Cox, being a legend and him being in Atlanta, we always knew each other and it was like, it was cool.
Yeah.
But I think that we got a real feel for each other, when we were spending like, excessive time with each other, right? And when obviously everybody that's in the music business spends a lot of time complaining about the music business.
Yeah.
So
It's just a thing to do.
it's just a thing to do, right? Which is so stupid because it's such a dope business. But
I think it's dope when you like the way y'all work and create. Because I've been fortunate to be in the studio with y'all, and how that's a unique thing though. That's a unique relationships that y'all have, the way y'all work. Like you'll just bring artists through and JD and B Cox is there and they'll just start vibing, playing music. Like that's not a way that a lot of people work in the business. Everybody kind of keep shit like to themselves and kind of like lock themselves off from other dudes. Like, nah, I don't want them to hear what I'm doing, or I don't want them to get in this artist's ear. Like what you do with your artists is like, and what y'all do, y'all have a relationship. Like y'all spend time talking about an artist.
Yeah, for sure.
Before like you probably bring them to the studio, and then by the time you bring them to the studio, Bryan and Jermaine already know who the artist is, has heard some of their stuff, and already have an idea of what they want to do with this artist.
Yeah.
So y'all have a unique way of doing things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for me, I like to consider that part like the world building, right? Like I think that like music is like driven by energy. Absolutely. And you know, like I do.
Or it should be.
It should be. Mm-hmm. And I do get the, you know, the other process, which is like, you know, we're gonna stay over here. But I think specifically what we're trying to do, it needs energy. Mm-hmm. But anyways, to I guess fast forward or rewind back to what I was saying about Cox, you know, like I was just saying, yo, like for me, the art in A&R is lost, right? Like I can name my like 5 A&Rs in the whole business that I actually be like, yo, like these guys are dope.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that what happened is the music business got away from people that make music. Mm-hmm. Like that's just, it's like, wait, you guys are making decisions about records and you don't make music?
Right.
Or you're not close enough to the people that make the music? Right. That doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, okay.
You're listening to it in the office and trying to make a decision. Yeah. It's crazy.
Or data. Just looking at data.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
So, you know, Cox, I was just like, yo, like, man, like I want to do something different. Like we have an opportunity, again, just to be leaders in the space and do what's obvious. Mm-hmm. And like, I want to bring in somebody that, you know, number one is a great person, but also just like is a producer. Yeah. Onto the A&R side. Mm-hmm. And at first it started off with us just like brainstorming on who that person could be.
We were trying to help him find the person. I'm giving our names.
Yeah. And then just like, what you doing tomorrow?
Yeah. I know, but what happened was like that night we were talking and I was like, man, I got to think about some more names, you know, and I was and I went home, I thought about it because what he didn't know was that I was actually having a conversation with like Naeem and people at Universal about possibly doing something with them. So we have, because I had a conversation with Naeem. I was working with an artist named, I was working with Coco Jones. I was working with another artist.
Love Coco Jones.
I forgot the girl name. I lost the girl name. Another young artist I was working with. And Naeem hadn't been in the studio with me in a long time. So he was in the studio watching me do this girl vocals. He was like, yo, like we need this back in like the art form of actually making records, this back into like these type of buildings. So we started having conversations about maybe doing something over there. But then it was right before Tunji took over. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, we got to wait till Tunji, you know, gets to we're going to talk about it. And we never got a chance to really talk about it. So I just let it go. Like, hey, if it happens, whatever. Yeah. This is like maybe 6 months later, 7 months later, we're having this conversation. And I'm trying to tell him other A&Rs I know in town. I said, what are you looking for? And he tells me like exactly what he's looking for. Atlanta-based, somebody who's in the culture, somebody who's outside, but somebody who's also, you know, can make music or understands how to make music. So I went home and I just sat with me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this probably is probably the opportunity I've been looking for. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I hit him. I was like, yo, man, like, I'll do that job. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he was like, you would? I was like, hell yeah.
He saw that investment headline and was like, oh, you can afford me.
No, it was before the investment.
No. I'm joking. It's you know, again, like, you know, I've built a company like, you know, with my friends. Mm-hmm. But I also know how tough that is. Yeah. Right? So, you know, like I like to consider Cox a friend. Mm-hmm. And when he said he would do it, I'm like, wait a second. Yeah. We really like each other. Yeah. And I'm like, I am not the easiest person to work with. Yeah. Like, I know that about myself, right? So I'm just like, are you sure? Like, you know, like you actually can. He's like, nah, like this is like a good pivot for me, you know? And I was just like, this makes the most sense. Like, why not? And then again, just doubling down on you know, the R&B niche that we're building around our aura. I just think that it was just like a beautiful addition.
Yeah. Where's the disconnect between like the elder statesman legends and the new generation? Because there's a gap.
Yes.
Like this, you two sitting here is rare as far as new generation and legends actually working together.
Yeah.
There always seems to be some type of beef.
I love this because it was like, this made so much sense. It was like what LVRN is doing, like y'all are clearly the new wave. And then like grabbing somebody like a Bryan Michael Cox, who is a legend in music business. But then y'all have a real, like a friendship and a relationship. And it's like, when y'all announced that, I was like, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you see that people do all the time. Like the new generation doesn't really kind of connect to the guys before them that laid the way for them, actually, especially when it comes to R&B. You're not going to find many people more talented than Bryan Michael Cox.
Right.
So for what y'all are doing and to have Bryan now part of that, I thought it made perfect sense.
Nah, thank you. I mean, I think what you said was important, right? Like, like me being around my peers and really watching that disconnect and how they speak about, like the generation that came before us, but also being around that generation and watching how they speak about them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you guys both want something, but nobody's gonna put their ego to the side. Yeah. Right. And I'm just like, for me, I'm just like, yo, listen, like, I'm comfortable in my space. I'm comfortable in what I know. And I know that I need to know a lot more. Yeah. Right. And I understand today and I understand what's going on outside. But one thing I do know that I wasn't around for is the creation of these eras and these records that were being made that, that still live to this day. Like, it's crazy. You go to an R&B party now, they play records just from their era, not this era. Yeah. Right. That says something about the music. Right. So I'm just like, okay. For me, selfishly, I just want to just go and soak up all the game that I can, and be a sponge and offer up to whatever I know. Right. But then over time it became strategy. It's like, wait, there's actually a gap here that needs to be filled. And if I could do that, or I could offer up that, like showing that, yo, this is something dope that can come out of this, like, why not just like, make it public and, come in the Rory and Mal show.
Do you feel like, it's funny you say that, that at parties they just still play the 90s shit when it comes to R&B sets. Is that dead, the party R&B record? Because R&B has gotten, I don't think across the board, I think R&B is an incredible place, but everyone, on Instagram, Twitter, especially after Puff said R&B was dead, was like, everything's too moody now, it's too toxic, it's whisper singers. Like,
how did y'all feel about that when Puff said that? I feel like y'all had a lot of reason to feel disrespected.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like when Puff said R&B is dead, like, I want to know what y'all group chat was like.
I mean, it was crazy, but I mean, I had a conversation with Puff at like.
I know, because you have other little gripes with Puff about some things he's done. Yeah, I know the whole love.
I mean, I know it's a little obvious.
Yeah.
Listen, obviously,
similar logos too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, Puff is
he's Puff.
Puff is Puff.
Absolutely, right? Like, no doubt about it.
100%.
He paved the way. He made it. It's funny. He was talking about Matthew. Making it possible for him to see. For me, Puff made it possible to see. I don't know why for him specifically. Like, it just felt like if he could do it, anybody could do it. But anyways,
great. We know Puff is a legend. We know that. Tell him shit on him. Like, what don't you like about it?
Well, no, I mean, my
you don't need to explain how dope Puff is. We know how dope Puff is.
My thing is, or my issue with was, my Puff, you just came outside. Like, you've been
came back outside.
Yeah, came back outside. Like, you've been rich for a very long time. Absolutely. Right? And like, there's a lot of groundwork that's going into, trying to just like put R&B back into the forefront. But I understand what he was trying to say. And I understand the point of marketing, right? But I think that he just went about it the wrong way. But he's wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We know that.
Yeah.
And I mean, the next day, after he did that, the next day, me and Jermaine got on a live with him the next day.
Oh, absolutely.
And he was like, man, I just said that to get the, get the conversation started.
Wake up the R&B.
Because I'm like, me and Jermaine's like, hey, like, bro, like, what you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like this is, I feel like we are in, we're in full motion. You know what I mean? And at that point, I felt like because people was trying to bridge the gap, right? I feel like, especially what we were doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just leading up to the Division's release and all of the little things we were doing, people were getting excited about hearing this music. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, I didn't even realize the strategy. Like I didn't realize how good of a strategy or a strategist that Justice is, or how good, you know what I mean, the strategy was going to be for Division. You know what I mean? I was like, well, we all posting. Let's all, just post every piece of this process. Yeah. And I felt the energy. So for him to say that, I was like, you feel this energy over here, right? You know what I'm saying? You want some of this energy. That's what this is. Yeah. And then next thing you know, we doing the camp with him. We were, so I just think he needed to do that to get.
Yeah, I think I'm saying it's funny, right? Because like the internet has this thing, right, where like it takes a headline and it acts like it. The internet acts like they don't know what you're trying to say. Yeah, and I know exactly what he's trying to say, and I agree with him, right? Because the aspect that I do pull out of it is like from the business of R&B, it really is dead, right? Like, you know, you go to R&B radio, they say like you basically just going to die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, which is crazy. Urban it's crazy, right? But like, you know, R&B records don't cross over. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so hard to introduce new R&B artists to the world because it takes a lot to get to the R&B fan. Yeah. So I understand what he's saying.
I mean, it's tough. I feel like R&B now has more press than it does actual sound scans. Like outside of summer, like R&B isn't the music is great. It's getting a lot of attention, but it doesn't sell. Outside of summer, what R&B artist really sells?
I mean, you consider SZA, right?
SZA. Fair. I'm sorry. Summer and SZA would be
10 weeks at number one. Some shit like that. 8 weeks. Yeah.
So it's weird because I think the music's great right now. I don't understand why it's not selling though. Like even Giveon, when that shit dropped, that's all anyone was talking about.
Right.
And I don't want to make it sound like I'm shitting on him, but he just did Irving Plaza, and I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
This is the only shit moving right now in R&B. It's incredible. It's real R&B. Every young chick is talking about it. Every box was checked.
Yeah.
And then I saw the tour. I was like, Irving Plaza.
Yeah.
Granted, that shit was packed wall to wall. Yeah, and the show was incredible, but I think maybe that's more what Puff was trying to get at with, the Dead part. Like
that's not because
hip hop is in the greatest selling space it's ever fucking been in.
and I tweeted this like 2 days ago, and that's the point, right? It's not the lack of music. It is the lack of support financially. I will say that, but more importantly, it's the lack of energy.
Sure,
R&B artists now they're isolated in like their own little islands, right? But like if you understand hip hop culture, or just urban culture in general, it's driven by energy. So like something is gonna be bigger when there's a lot of people around it that are making it feel important, right? But like if you're an R&B artist, and you're just sitting there and like in your corner and nobody really knows you for real, like yo, you're trying to finish an album, but you don't know the other R&B artists, like you know what I'm saying? Like you can't even collaborate, like you know what I'm saying? Like you can't even get nobody on the phone,
right. Yeah,
and you're like, you know, supposedly doing numbers. That's like counterproductive to like what hip hop is, right? Like you see QC come outside and like, when Lil Baby's dropping his, everybody's behind it. Yeah. You see when Kendrick is dropping, everybody's behind. Like there's an energy, so it makes it feel bigger. Yeah. I think R&B doesn't have that.
I think to me, I blame it. I kind of point to a number of things. I think that, just the way that a lot of guys, I guess, court women or their relationships with women today changed. The conversations that men have with women today changed. So it's a lot to do with just, I guess, the era, the timing. Guys kind of think it's corny to put on like slow music if a girl comes over now.
Wow.
Like everybody want to be turned up, twerking, it's just a different energy I think that the younger audience has with girls now.
Right.
So I think I can blame that for why Puff would say R&B is dead, is because if you play R&B at a club right now, you're probably gonna be playing an old school R&B record to where people are gonna, kind of groove to that. If you play a new one, people are like, oh, this is my shit, but I'm gonna go get a drink.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not the same type of, Like it's just a weird energy now when you hear R&B in a club, which is why I love what Bryan is doing with the R&B party.
Yeah.
Because I feel like shit like that is needed.
Yeah.
Like I think it's dope to have a bunch of guys that you wouldn't think know a lot of R&B records.
Singing top of their lungs in the club.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
it's like because girls start looking like, oh, you know about this? Like me and my girls play this when we in the crib or we in the car going to the club. Like I didn't think guys was like, nah, this is my shit. Like I'm Sabrina Claudia all day. I'm playing that shit. You know what I mean? So it's a pocket of people that still listen and support R&B, but it's definitely not the
but also
the genre
R&B is
that
also
people
it's also marketed so old.
Yeah.
Its marketed so out of style.
Yeah.
And the shit just
It feels
sucks.
like an older genre.
But
It's like
it feels like it's for old people.
And it's really interesting because when I was coming up, R&B was such a young thing. You know, think about all the groups that I produced, all the groups that was coming out.
Come on, we used to leave the R&B song on our voicemail. Like, yo, play the R&B, play 15 seconds of the R&B joint. You'll leave a message. I was 14. What was I doing?
It's nasty.
It's a nasty thing to be doing on your voicemail. Like,
it was such a young thing. If it felt like it was the music of the youth. Also, it felt like hip hop and R&B when that marriage happened.
Yeah.
In the late 80s were really in the 90s when it really, really took off. You had Mary J. Blige's, you had the Jodeci's, you had Boyz II Men's. It just felt like we were coming up together. You know what I'm saying? And
then the split happened. The rappers started sipping lean and doing pills.
No, the rappers took melody. You used to have to go to R&B to get melody.
That's
like,
true too.
I grew up a hip hop nerd, baby. That's all I fucked with. But that shit, even to me, was like, all right, I need a break. This is just too much drums and rapping. I need some melodies.
Next thing you know,
I don't have to go to R&B now.
You know,
it's all the melodies are in hip hop.
Yeah. So I also feel like once that happened in hip hop and hip hop numbers started going crazy, R&B artists started chasing that, right?
Yeah.
So then now you're breeding new artists who are looking up to the R&B artists who's doing that. Now they're all doing that. Versus when I was coming up, there was the thing that made Jodeci special was the church influence.
Mm-hmm.
The things that make Mary J. Blige the queen of hip hop soul is because of the church influence. The things that makes Mariah Carey, and Whitney Houston is because of the church influence.
Yeah.
And once R&B hip hop split, people start chasing hip hop. And just be real, you know what I mean? You know, the world becomes, we become more liberal, we become more expressive about what we believe. Church is not put on, like church was on me.
Yeah.
No matter whether I liked it or not. You know what I'm saying?
You was there.
But I got my teachings from that. I play piano because of that. I sing because of it. All these artists that are at the top of the food chain, you know, like if you look at a Usher, you look at a Beyonce, you look at, you know, who've been around for 25, 30 years, you know what I mean? But they're still at the top of the game. Their learning come from
the foundation.
The foundation is church.
Yeah.
R&B's foundation, the beautiful thing about R&B in the 90s, it was like church meets rap.
Yeah.
Now we don't have none of that. Kids.
Foundation is brunch.
Yeah, brunch. Brunch is foundation.
Working, mimosas, waffles.
Social media.
Also captions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just want a short part of the record.
Yeah.
Because as much as words were important in R&B, of course, but it was so much based off singing and melody. Now, a lot of that shit, the same way with rap, you have to have the caption part of the song.
Word.
Like, what's the thing that people are going to share?
Damn.
Yeah, I don't think she deserves the blame because she's incredible, but Janae is probably the sole artist you could look to see where R&B completely changed. Her success changed R&B to more of what we would call like the whisper singers and more of like that really moody R&B, less singing out, less love songs, even though Janae makes those.
Yeah.
She started this wave, intentionally or not intentionally, of where we're at with music now. It's Aaliyah and it's Janae of what R&B is right now.
I think Janae is a huge proponent, but I don't think that she's the reason. I think the post era that we're living in a post era, post Weekend, and post Frank Ocean. I think those three artists specifically, when you're talking about R&B, shape the sound. Like whatever we say, like the modern R&B is a derivative from what 40 and Drake were doing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Like, that's their fault.
100%.
But even 40 sound to me is very similar. What was Janae's, not her first album, but that mixtape?
Stealing Souls?
Classic.
Love that.
A lot of that, I mean, of course, Drake was even on that mixtape.
2012, yeah.
40 sound is similar to what Janae was doing as far as that underwater dark tone type of thing. So yeah, Frank's there as well, but I think Janae, Drake, and 40 would be the
and then
a lot of Drake's R&B shit is, especially the early stuff, was his best Aaliyah impression.
Yeah,
written by Party Next Door.
Yeah.
So these artists, even though they did it the best, like I don't consider Janae a whisper singer, but she did open the door for a lot of bullshit R&B. Because they thought it looked easy, but it's not.
But I feel like Janae.
What nasty word?
She opened the door for bullshit
R&B. Nasty word.
I feel like Janae.
That's a crazy take.
And what's funny is I like whisper singing R&B.
What is whisper singing?
But they're not belting out high notes.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear
that. All right, I'll talk about a whisper singer I love.
People do want to hear that.
I don't.
You don't. But people want to hear that.
Don't.
People want to hear that.
No, they don't.
What do you mean?
You only want to hear that if you're past 45.
See? Whisper singer R&B?
No,
that's what the young chicks like.
They feel like it's supposed to be an older thing.
But this is the whole point. This is the reason why the
like Jasmine Sullivan does it. She's amazing. Like
but it is. But like again, look at Jasmine Sullivan today, right? She's found a way to obviously to still vocal flex, but not.
Oh, content. Her content is very different.
Yeah. Than it was content before. Is very different, but also just like it's in moderation.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that like, much different?
Huh? Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so because Jasmine could bang, she can bang you in the head.
Yeah, she was knocking windows.
The fact that she
went against a lion, tiger, and a bear. Yeah, I don't think the shit has changed that much.
Yeah, she's dialed it back.
I love Jasmine Sullivan. Yeah, but no, I mean, I think if you're looking at the space of it, like for me, the only reason why I say who wants to hear that is because it's just like we're trying to catch a vibe. Mm-hmm. Right? Like what is R&B serving to you, right? And if you're listening to, modern R&B, it's like it's melody that's in rap form, right? Yeah. Because it's like rap has trained us to almost live our life to it. And then now like R&B has been taken outside of just the love sector and you're able to sing about other things outside of love, right? Like if you're looking at like the Trey Songz era, Jamie Foxx era, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was so specific. It was like, you only were going to be successful if you made a sex song. Mm-hmm. And R&B was so sexualized. And it wasn't until, the new generation was like, yo, like, there's more to do, guys. Mm-hmm. We can sing about more besides panty droppers.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just went from being love, and then it was sex. People and now it's like, oh, you dog me, I'm gonna dog you first type of shit.
Well, no, it's real life though. But it's real life.
Confessions is a toxic album. I mean, no offense to what you were going through at the time, but it's a toxic album. That's why I also find that weird when the internet is saying R&B lost love songs. I'm like, I mean, granted, Billie Jean is a pop song, but Billie Jean's a toxic song. Like, pop and R&B have been toxic forever. It's not just been nothing but fucking love songs that fell from the earth. And most of those love songs are about eating pussy. It's not about fucking love for real.
I know I'm getting older.
Summer Rain is about pussy. It's not.
I told y'all the other day, I can't even listen to rap before 3 o'clock no more. I don't want to hear that shit, man. No, man, we getting up before 3 p.m.
Yeah, nah.
Turn that shit off. Like when we walked in, y'all was playing Migos. I looked around I feel like I walked into the Twilight Zone. I'm like, this is what y'all on before 3? The Migos? Like, we love the Migos, but it's 1 o'clock, fam. Like, turn that down. What happened to like the R&B remixes? Or the hip hop remixes of like real R&B ballads?
I just think that the music got blended, so that the genres got blended. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then when they separated, it was like, okay, for R&B, if you caught a record, let's say you caught a tempo record, R&B record, it was
like Let's Get Married. When you did that. Yeah, so and then y'all all the way hip hop that out.
So the remix,
Run DMC, right?
Yeah, the remix ended, I think, in the early 2000s because what people started doing was just, let's say, a song came out and it blew up, what they would just use the same beat and have them put people on it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Versus going in and reconstructing the track. You know what I mean? How Jermaine did In My Bed, or how, I did Superwoman Part 1 and then Clue remixed it and did Superwoman Part 2. You know what I mean? Like that was, we were, and the remix business was a business too, by the way.
Absolutely.
It was like a real, maxi single business. What's interesting is though, we even in our meeting a few days ago, I think the remix business is coming back.
How so?
You know, I think we talked about TikTok and people taking songs like Coyle Ray now. You can go to her page, her Spotify page, and that record has 5 different versions.
Yeah. And Beyonce with the wetter shit that's happening now.
All these mashups,
So these mashups, these people speeding the records up, you know, and kids wanting to listen to it in that space. I think the remix, or what we used to call the maxi single, is being redefined right in front of our face right now. You know what I'm saying?
How do you feel about the fact that so many people get married to one of your records? Was like going into it, did you feel like that's what y'all wanted to do?
Well, Let's Get Married for sure. Let's Get Married was very, very intentional. You know what I mean? Jermaine wrote the hook. It was very, very intentional. It was my first time actually, because when I first started working with
none of them niggas ever been married.
Which is crazy, right? Which is insane. That's what I was getting to next. Like, you wrote a song that so many people get married to. Like, Let's Get Married. Let's Get Married is the equivalent to like Whitney Houston's I Believe the Children Are. Like, people, everybody has walked in graduation to Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Most people in our culture have walked out and had their first dance to Let's Get Married.
Absolutely.
And none of y'all ever been married. Y'all some sick niggas, man.
You don't live your rhymes.
Work.
Yeah, y'all some sick niggas.
You be lying in your rhymes.
Well, I mean, nobody's, no. She,
Look, Brian, like, it's the first time I ever seen him stuttering.
Hold on. As a songwriter, we write about conversations.
Yeah.
And I always say this, my number one motto as a songwriter, the song is in the conversation. Now, I learned that actually working with Jermaine. You know what I'm saying? Because we wrote You Got It Bad. It was literally me, Jermaine, and Usher having a conversation. And in this conversation, Jermaine concludes the conversation with, man, you got it bad, talking to Usher.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, we're making the song. So Let's Get Married is the same. It's the root of a conversation. Yeah, me and Jermaine was having a conversation with one of his homies. They was talking about how they just gonna go ahead and do it. They've been with the girl for 15 years. They got 2 kids. He might as well, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that was the hook. The hook was, we might as well just do it. Like that was the sentiment of the conversation.
We ain't getting no older.
And
we're no younger. We ain't
no
getting
younger. And I'd never written with Jermaine in that space, right? Like him actually trying to sing a hook to me, right? So it kind of threw me off when he started trying to sing the hook to me. And I'm like, oh, we about to write the song now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, okay. And it was very intentional. We were like, okay, this is going to be the marriage song, right? So the song comes a hit. And then the remix was like a gift. You know what I mean? The remix, the guy who did the remix guy was LaMarcus Jefferson, who was signed to Jermaine. And I remember he was just in the back room working on it for no reason. Like it wasn't like we, ordained it. We did a remix with Kanye. The original Let's Get Married remix is a remix with Kanye West.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that leaked anywhere?
It got leaked. You can find it.
It's one of those YouTube shit.
It's fine. So it's Kanye's,
I never knew that.
It's Kanye's first time rapping as a guest on a major artist.
How did Kanye even get involved with that?
Well, because Kanye had a song deal at So Def. Kanye worked on Jermaine's Life in the 1472 album, and he worked on Harlem World. Him and Just Blaze did Harlem World, so he was already in the loop with Jermaine. And so when we were doing Diane, this lady who worked for Jermaine named Diane McDonald, would send CDs over to Noontime. I was at Noontime with the twins working, and she would send CDs over like, we would pick one of these beats for a remix because they had a deal with him. So they're like, let's try to get through this deal. And they picked a beat, and it was this Hall & Oates sample called Grounds for Separation. And it had all like vocals, and this was before Blueprint. So it had all the little things that, what you hear on Blueprint, had all those things in it. And I remember we were listening to the track, and we thought the track was really dope. But twins were like, I can't write to it with all the sample shit in there. Tell them to take, can't take the sample out. So we do the remix, and then Diane's okay, cool. Brian, I need you to go to Lil Jon had a studio, and used to have a studio off of South Cobb. And you go to Lil Jon's studio and work with this guy, because you know you're around the studio. So, okay, cool. Go to the studio. Kanye got his ASR 10 and his, his Proteus and his MPC 2000, and he set up, and he has a VS 1880. This is a VS 880. I'm sorry. This is like a digital 8-track Rory used to make.
Okay,
right? And he's like, me talking. He's like, yo, man, you know your way around the studio. I was like, yeah. He's like, man, I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. I only make beats because I'm trying to rap. I'm a rapper. I'm an artist. I didn't ask for this information.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't. We were there to do this one job.
Kanye thought ever.
I was there to track the beat out and do overdubs.
I could just see you and him in there by yourselves. And he's like, you know I really rap, right?
No,
like, okay.
but he like it was me and him and the engineer. And he's like, yo, like for real, man. I'm an artist, man. I'm gonna be bigger than Michael Jackson. He's like really talking this shit.
That's
right?
crazy.
And I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, man, I want to play you some shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. This 880, he plays what these skeletons would end up becoming these huge records down the line.
Wow.
And he had Jesus Walks already, a skeleton of it. He had, you know what I mean?
Wow.
A lot of records that we hear, that he's still pulling from back there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of records that he had a lot of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he would just be like, yeah, I'm telling you, and he was rapping. So then when we finished the overdub session, right, I called JD. He's like, JD, this shit's finished. We got to figure out who we're going to put on it. Jermaine was like, I got to figure out who we're going to put on it. He hears us talking about the shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I know somebody.
Me.
He didn't say me. He just said, I got somebody. All right, cool. So we go to mix. We still ain't heard the verse, right?
Yeah.
But the mix session's at Jermaine's studio. So I guess me and Jermaine go off to go do something, whatever. Come back, Kanye's verse is on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, we might as well keep it on there. It was hard.
Yeah.
We keep it on there. And we thought that was going to be the remix that we going to lead with.
Mm-hmm.
But in the other room, LaMarcus is making this mashup. It's like that, mashup. And it's like, you submit both to the label. Columbia was like, oh, well, this is obviously... This is obviously the bigger one. It's not a whole different song. We took the acapella, just put it on.
Yep.
It's like that. And of course you get run on it and then
say no more
record.
So LaMarcus, you will never be getting a call from Yeezy ever again in your life.
I do want to hear this Kanye verse on it. If he says Mazel Tov on it, I just think it's a full circle moment.
No.
Imagine he ends his verse on Let's Get Married with Mazel Tov.
I'm trying to remember. Did he say
what were his views on the Jewish community at that time?
I would joke.
But to Justice's point, if you guys never being married, now that I'm looking at these lyrics, this looks like it's set up for divorce. Like we might as well just do it. That's probably not the best way to go into marriage.
He's just like, yo, might as well just do this.
So uninspired.
He said, meet me at the altar.
Like, your white dress. We ain't get no younger girl. We might as well just do it.
It's nasty work.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you telling a girl she's getting old. Like that's already fucked up.
Yeah.
You kind of
classic
an asshole.
fucking record.
It's ghetto, just some ghetto shit.
It worked.
You know what I mean? It was just some ghetto.
It worked. It fucking worked.
How many people that's been with their lady for 8 years and got 3 kids? They ain't
even talking about marriage.
Talking about marriage.
He just
all
the
the kids, but
the
kids got the dad last name.
Yeah, no engagement ring, just vibes.
Know what I mean?
Like,
just saying vibes.
Vibes. Been together 10 years, 2 kids.
Sabrina Johnson.
Yeah,
but her kid's last name Brown.
Yeah, it's like yo,
they the Browns. You ain't part of the family yet.
Don't marry that girl, man. Stop doing that.
Stop
man.
doing that, man.
Go ahead and marry her, dog.
Make it official, dog.
Yeah.
Make it official.
This is really about an arranged marriage, is what you're trying to say.
Absolutely.
It's funny. But it's interesting because after that, it became like a trend. I wasn't even trying to become like the married guy trend.
Yeah.
It just ended up becoming a trend because I did a Little Most record. And then that was a conversation that we were having. And I was like, well, we did it from a guy's perspective. Let's do it from a woman's perspective. You know what I mean? And we wrote forever. And then that record is now a thing. It's a trend. It's something that's played at every wedding. It's something that, So it's like, and then so we're like, wait, might as well keep going. And we do To Me It's Still, which you got, country artists are remaking that song. And it's become like, if I look at my statement, those 3 songs are like probably definitely in the top 10 of my like top performance songs. Like,
what's your favorite song that you've written and produced? Like one that you just like, and then let me change it. What's your personal favorite song that you've written and produced that most people didn't kind of gravitate toward like you thought they would?
Oh, you know what? I did a song early on. I did a song for my guys as a group called Ideal. I did a song for them called Creep In. That I thought
Meet Me at the Creep In.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a big.
You've been a sick nigga for a long time. See, we around the same age. You a little older, but I was outside for creeping, nigga. I was young, but I was outside. You a sick nigga, man.
Yeah. Creeping, I thought was gonna be because we were coming off of Get Gone, and Get Gone was a big record.
Yeah.
Creeping, I love that song. I love the sample. I thought, it was like the first time the twins and Jonte actually did a song together. You know what I mean? Being the twins did the hook and Jonte wrote the verses. I was really hyped about this song. Like this song was gonna be crazy, and it did. It did okay, but it didn't really. Yeah. Because I think they Virgin put it out too soon after Get Gone. Get Gone was still really
cooking
on fire at the time. But Creepin' is one. I would say one of my favorite songs I've produced, or co-produced would be "You Got It Bad." You Got It Bad is just sounds like something. Yeah. Like it just, to me, it was very, very different. We list all the songs that we made on him. You know what I mean? And granted, Confessions is huge. Burn, his records are big, Yeah. But it's just something about that particular song. His vocal, there's no harmonies. He's singing straight.
There are no harmonies in that record. I just thought about it. I didn't notice it till now.
Singing straight down. You know what I mean? It's just one vocal sitting on top of about 6 sounds.
How many women you lied to and said that you wrote that about them?
You Got It Bad?
Yeah.
I've never told anybody I've never told anybody that I wrote that song about them. I always tell the truth about that song because I was so.
You look like you say I wrote a song about you. Got to listen and guess which one it is.
Yeah. I'm that guy.
You got to leave it open ended.
Yeah, you got to guess which one.
Yeah.
And text me back.
It gets your streams up too.
Because definitely tell a bitch, text me back. Let me know which one you think it is.
No, the one thing about that song, when I was so amazed at how we finished talking about something, and then the very next hour we had this song, and it was like, this song, and that's something a lesson that just stuck with me forever. Like to this day, like I have to talk to the artist. I have to talk. What are you going through? What do you want to talk about? What's happening in your life? I know something happening.
Right.
Who you seeing?
Right.
What the nigga do?
Right.
What you know what I mean? Like the whole situation. I got to have the conversation because in every situation I could point at in any songs I've been a part of, when you have the conversation, it like Be Without You was a conversation. It was like literally we got a call from Jimmy Iovine and Jimmy's like, I need a rhythmic record like this, right? And I was like, okay, what does she want to talk about? And he was like, okay, we're gonna get Mary and them on the phone. So Mary can do Chris, we all get on the phone, and Jonte, and they tell us what they want, to talk about. And we talk about it, and we literally did. I did the track literally. Be Without You. That track happened in like between 8 to 10 minutes because I was just trying to get the idea down.
That's
and
wild.
I called Jonte. I was like, "Yo, man, I got this idea. You, like, come to the studio." You know what I'm saying? He said, "Play it for me on the phone." So I played him the 8 bars on the phone. He was like, "All right, I'm on the way." Got to the studio. The song was written. And Jonte's a beast.
That's one of the greatest writers ever.
Jonte Austin,
human.
He doesn't.
You have to be a sick human being to be a great writer.
No.
He's one of the people that I want his verses done over, like in a space, a theater.
Yeah, it doing
like
that on that
over the
IG shit wasn't. Yeah,
like,
no, it didn't do either of them justice.
You don't understand. The first time I ever watched this man write a song, like he gets in the booth, right? No pen and paper.
Nah.
None. Gets the glass of wine. He has a little wine thing he does. Starts swirling. I'm like, oh man. Yes.
All of his thoughts in that glass. Drink your thoughts.
Swirling the emotions around.
He has a button up on.
All the way to the top.
Writing a song in slacks is hilarious.
Suit on.
Yeah. Bro, Jonte put a suit on.
He's suit on. He's a gentleman.
Get in mode, man.
But then he hears the beat. Maybe 2 minutes the beats plays. He's like, all right, cool. Load me up. So he's just singing things that aren't sentences. And it's like, what are these? What is he singing? And then he'll go, all right, cool. Record this again. And then he's like, keep that. And then he'll do something that seems like a verse. And you're like, wait.
Where did that come from?
What is he writing?
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, cool. Then now he's going to do another take. And it's doing something that seems like one half of the chorus. But the first thing that he recorded was the answer to the chorus.
Ah, okay.
No, it's crazy.
Like he writes in like It's wild, bro. I ain't never seen
genius.
it like
It makes sense in his head, and then at the end, it all makes sense. To all of us.
It's like, yo, this man is crazy.
Yeah,
and he quick.
Showing up to write in the suit is like
no, that's his flow.
Yeah,
I mean, Beyonce's a gentleman. Even if he's in like dressed down, he's got the button-up jeans, hard bottom.
He's hard bottom.
You know what I mean? Like he's
hard bottom with
hard
the jeans.
bottoms.
You from a different era. You seen some shit. When you wear the hard bottoms with the jeans, you just kick it. Like you come to the homie crib with hard bottoms on and some jeans. I'm like, yo, what he on?
That's his dress down day.
Yeah, like yo, we just chilling in it. The game is coming on. Like
bro. He's chilling. Jonte he's different.
Yeah.
This a mix of writers and producers in Atlanta. I was talking to JD about when I was at the studio last. Like, y'all have a real interesting group of producers, songwriters in Atlanta. And I was like, yo, JD, do y'all all really fuck with each other? Or is it like some secret, like, because I know y'all got the group chats outside of the group chat. Where like one of them niggas ain't in this group chat. Like, but he in the other one that he talking about a record and y'all all go to the other one he not in. Like, yo, what he talking about? Like,
I think just even that, even having the concept of the group chat, the Atlanta producers group chat, I think that in itself
is insane.
It's some special shit.
That's crazy.
You know, even if it's like a couple of group chats, right?
Yeah.
The fact that at some point in my phone right now, there's a chat with me, JD, Polo, Tricky, Jonte. You know, there is a chat.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? That's Sean Garrett. There's a chat that we're all in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that is some amazing shit, and just in general. You know what I mean? That we all have. You know, Dallas. Like, you know, like you might go to Jermaine's house. You know, we went to go watch the game at Jermaine's house one night, the playoff game, and Dallas just pulls up and we just over there. It's me, Dallas, and Jonte, and you know, Jermaine.
Look at that.
You know what I mean?
The names you just fucking Avengers. The Avengers.
Yeah. So but it's just like a thing. It's kind of like, you know, I think that's what's the most special thing about.
Well, you can't call it the Atlanta producer group chat unless Amaretta's in there and verifies who's.
You got to verify where you're from.
Like what part of Georgia is Dallas Austin really from? And his name's Dallas. Like we got to check his
resume.
He's
from College Park.
From College Park.
That's not Atlanta, according to her.
Not Atlanta, apparently.
Well, let me tell you what's funny though.
You hear that, Jermaine?
If you talk to JD, he actually will say, "You're right. We started Atlanta."
Yeah.
Jermaine, we're arguing with you. Wow. Jermaine will say College Park started Atlanta.
Well, JD told me he was from Brooklyn at Pergola yesterday, so I don't know.
He lived in Brooklyn for 4 years.
He said, "No, I'm really from Brooklyn." I was like, I never knew that.
Yeah, but he made.
I ain't checked your Wikipedia page.
He made a good point, and I think he was saying in the Welcome to Atlanta video, they didn't show College Park.
No, they didn't. No, he didn't film in College Park. No, they did go to College Park. They went to World Changers. They went to Creflo's church.
He said he didn't. So either he lied or
he must see what he remember.
Was it Welcome to Atlanta he was talking about?
Yeah. Either he lied or you're lying.
Yeah, in the
check the group chat.
In the original video, in the video with him and Ludacris, the original version, they went to World Changers. World Changers is in College Park.
Okay. Oh, so JD, he must have forgot that then.
But they didn't go to like the hood. They didn't go like to like
No, him and Justice had an amazing conversation about who's from Atlanta, what part is Atlanta, like, and then like Rory said, they keep looking at me and Rory like we can like vouch, like
bro.
He's like, yo, Justice was like, did you hear what he just said? I'm like, Justice, I don't know what Cobb is.
Cobb County.
I couldn't tell you what none of that shit is. All of that is Atlanta to me.
JD brought up Gwinnett, and I was like, I don't know her. I was like, yo, why are you looking at me for verification?
That's his one though. He loved the shit on Gwinnett. Jermaine always talking about Gwinnett.
Meanwhile, Jermaine lives in not Atlanta.
Well, I mean, he's rich. He should probably move out of
Roswell, Sandy Springs.
Yeah, it's like, come on, my guy.
We had a same night, same city thing that we do on the show where it's kind of like verses, but we like if it's you're in your city and these two artists have a show tonight, which show do you go to? And I brought up SZA or Summer Walker.
Well, contractually, they both have to go to the summer one.
We're going to Summer's concert. That's easy.
Okay, take your business hats off and your affiliations off, just as a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bigger Summer fan.
Yeah, I'm a bigger Summer fan than SZA.
Okay, I agree too. Yeah.
Specifically,
I like SZA.
I love SZA.
I really
try to clean it up.
Enjoy her new album.
Huh?
Try to clean it up.
Album is crazy.
No, it's clean up.
I'm fucking with you.
Her new album is insane.
Yeah.
SZA's new album is
amazing.
Overall, I just like some. First of all, I met Summer around the time she signed to them. Right before they were, because the story I got was the other Summer Walker.
Yeah.
You know, so I met her through.
She was the other Summer Walker was managing Summer Walker.
That's how I met.
We initially thought it was the other Summer Walker. We was like, she making music?
Yeah.
This shit is hard.
Which would have been crazy.
Yeah. So
think about that. Like if that was her voice.
So I remember I met Archer, and I remember them playing me the music, and then I started following her on Instagram, and then Chris was telling me, you gotta pay attention to this girl. This girl is really like fire. You know what I'm saying? And I just like her, like just her perspective. You know what I mean? The wild shit she on. I just like everything about who she is as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like through and through.
I want to ask Justice specifically. Age-old debate. 8701 versus Confessions. What's a better album?
Confessions.
You ain't even think about that.
No.
Not
or
at
you
all?
already thought about that and knew the answer.
No, I mean, it's like 8701 was great, but like Confessions was like, especially when happened.
Yeah, just a moment. Like, it was
where I was. I mean, I was like 12 years old. That shaped my viewpoint of like R&B. I'm like, oh,
you left that on your voicemail.
Yeah, this is it.
That's an aggressive voicemail.
I didn't have a voicemail, but
you never had a voicemail with the record on it?
Not till I was like 15.
Okay. But you gotta understand, Justin and I come from the era where we would have the ringtone, and then also when you call, we could put a song instead of hearing the ringer. Like we from that era. We not really the voicemail. Like play a song and say leave it after the beat.
Yeah.
I used to really think about what I was gonna play on my voicemail. 100%. Now I haven't activated my voicemail on my phone in probably 10 years. You know.
I used to really try to curate the proper.
Yeah, you had to.
What the shit was going to be next week. You know what I'm saying?
Did you only use songs you wrote?
Well, I'm talking about, right, it's funny. I'm talking about when I was, before I was like, you know, a favorite songwriter. I was,
like when you were in high school writing for Destiny's Child.
I would do, right. I used to do stupid shit in high school though too. Like I used to do like singing telegrams, like in school. Like if you came to the class and you saw a keyboard set up, some roses, you was about to get a singing telegram. So that's how I used to hustle back in school.
Oh, wow. That's smart. How old were you when you lost your virginity?
Huh?
If you was doing that in high school, you lost your virginity at what, 12, 13?
This nigga got some of the greatest ears on the planet. He said, huh? Like, you heard him?
No. It was later. It was later.
14?
It was later. I'm gonna give it to myself.
It was later.
I'm gonna give it to myself.
Our guy Julian had, I thought, an amazing question for you, B. Fuck, marry, kill. Confessions, Emancipation of Mimi, or The Breakthrough?
Marry, Confessions.
Nothing about that album is about marriage.
But I'm saying, for me, if I'm going to marry an album,
forever.
That motherfucker got 20 million.
I'm marrying. You telling Confessions? You know what I'm saying? We might as well just do it.
Marry, Confessions, fuck Emancipation, kill, Breakthrough.
Yeah, I'm there.
Fucking Emancipation.
It's a tough one. Wow. It's tough.
Yeah.
Justice, fuck, marry, kill, Free Black.
Over It.
What would be the third there? Oh, I'm gonna really put you on the spot. Boogie's album.
Which one?
This last one.
Okay, so fuck, marry, kill.
Fuck, marry, kill. Over It. Free Black. Or More Black Superheroes.
That's tough.
Damn.
As a fan or as an executive?
As Justice.
As a fan or as an executive?
No, like as you.
As Tony Starks.
As a fan or as an executive?
Yeah, it's Tony Starks. You Tony Starks. I want to hear.
As a fan, I'm gonna marry Free Black. I'll fuck Over It, and I had to kill Boogie's album.
That's crazy. He finally got vulnerable, opened up. His therapy album, You Want to Kill? It's not going to do well for his mental health.
Yeah. No, that's my answer. Yeah.
I fought with the toxicity now.
Over It or still Over It?
As a fan or as an executive?
Oh my God.
Both. Give me both.
Tony Starks. Not as the Iron Man.
As a fan, Over It.
Yeah.
As an executive, still Over It.
As a fan, Over It. As an executive, still Over It.
Yeah.
Why?
The marketing y'all did behind Still Over It was insane.
That's what I'm saying. As an executive,
That was hard.
Yeah.
That was hard.
as an executive, I mean, I mean,
they broke it in Harlem, right? Then they get the box. Then they break the glass. In Harlem.
Yeah, but I mean,
leave it to a nigga from 7th to break that glass. Nigga from 7th. I told y'all, make that the last stop.
The first
yeah, because that nigga gonna break that for real.
But yeah, as an executive, because it's just like I said, but you were with me. When we were trying to finish that album. I mean, they broke up mid-album.
Yeah.
Like the shit that I had to go through to finish that album.
Ooh.
But it was such a. I remember because I remember you hit me. I was like, bro, this album, they wait, and because it was such a real. The fans were going through a real. I think we was together when she posted the video, and you was like, "Yo, dog, I woke up, I had to deal with all." I said, I said, Justice, this you couldn't ask for anything better than this. Yeah. It's fucked up because she's going through some real shit.
Dead ass.
But this is in real time. Like this is happening right now.
As the album's being made.
As the album's pretty much, she was like, what, 2 songs away from being done with the album?
No. Well, when we were talking,
I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's fucked up, but it's
tough.
like
it was tough.
Was Fifth Baby Mama done already, or that was after?
No, that was the last song.
That was the last
he
song.
Was there tonight. She wrote it.
Right, and she laid it down. I was like,
oh.
First of all, I want to start off. Your mama should have beat your ass. I was like,
wait, you witnessed her just barring him up?
Yo, she was in the other room writing, and then she had laid it down. And then I came
That's like
back
being in the studio when
like,
Pac made hit him up. She barred London to death on that
First
song.
of all, your mama should have whooped your ass. I said, oh my God.
And that album was so tough, man. Like, because her and London are so good musically together.
Oh yeah.
And to break up in the middle of it and just leave me in the middle of no man's land.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I'm burning through cash every single day.
Yeah.
Cause I got London this crazy house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's comfortable. She says she ain't recording no more till I get that motherfucker out.
Wow.
And he's like, bro, we have an agreement. It was tough. It was tough.
How do publishing splits, they're already difficult. How do publishing splits happen in the middle of also a breakup?
I had to handle everything. I literally had to maneuver the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had to maneuver their personal relationship in terms of like speaking through me. And then the creative part of it. Yeah. And the business part of it. Like it was a really tough album to make.
Like a divorce attorney.
Yeah. That was the toughest thing. But it made me a better executive. That's why when you asked, I was like,
when was the last time? Because of course you had to choose Summer in the divorce. I mean, he was there from the beginning. When was the last time you saw London? What's that relationship like?
I saw him at the Rock Nation brunch.
Okay.
We don't speak.
You and London don't speak at all?
No, he don't. He acts like I don't exist. I feel him. I do.
Why? I saw him with you when he pressed me about Maul, and that was after the breakup.
That's
I was
nutty,
not there.
first of all.
Yeah, I went to the studio with you for when Puff was trying to steal all y'all sauce.
Wow.
Yo. I don't know what you're talking about.
See, that's why you can't take the white boy and certain rooms. You start spilling shit. Like, you were supposed to leave that in the studio, my brother.
We have the edit button.
No.
But yeah, he was cool with you at that point. And we can take all that out.
When
me and you went, when Puff was doing the Love Valentine's Day album.
Where were we? What are you talking about?
In LA.
Oh.
That was after the breakup, no?
Was it?
Oh, they might have broke up before that and got back together. That might have been one of those.
No.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those.
They had broken up and that was
It
okay.
it wasn't official. Yeah, it wasn't official because that was before the baby. Before she had the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But no. After the breakup, he don't speak to me. I get it. I understand. But
I finally met him.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's up, man? Because he's working with Saint now.
Yeah.
So I met him last
The song they have is hard.
Yeah. They got a few joints that they doing together. So I finally met him. I thought it was funny. The Rory situation, like, he asked me about you, like, yo, what's up with your boy? Liking Summer's pictures and all. I'm just a Summer fan, bro.
Yeah, it's
just
like,
a fan.
I mean, you flew to Toronto for the show, though.
It was a good show.
A great show. Great night. Great audience.
Yeah.
Great
He
aesthetics.
came to support me, man.
Yeah. He's my guy.
That's what you think he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just the whole night. That was me and my boy.
I know because he was with Summer.
No.
Here you go.
Actually, I've never even met Summer, I don't think.
You met her that night at the studio in Atlanta?
Oh, yeah, I did.
4 Baby Mama night, yeah.
Yeah, but that was like, it was a different meet. She was in a different zone, headspace.
Yeah.
So
She
it
ain't
was
fuck with
like,
nothing.
hey, how you doing? And I kept it moving. Like,
She ain't fuck with nothing. Nobody moving.
No.
She was
It's tough.
Yeah.
But it's just yeah, man. Shout out to my boy London.
An actual serious question, Justice. With Summer specifically, and just us now seeing how much the music business can affect artists, their anxiety, their depression, how much this really fucks you up. How have you been able to manage personalities outside of just business, dealing with artists that have social anxiety, can't come outside, and how does that fuck with your mental health? Because at that point, you can't even have feelings. Like,
you just get serious.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
therapy bag.
Sounds
Yeah.
This is your evolved Rory.
I mean, no, I'm not involved.
Okay, cool.
This is Dr. Oz bag right
This is my let's get married where I'm saying good things, but I'm not really gonna get married.
Because I know what's really underneath.
Yeah.
But not like, for real though, that's been a huge thing with Summer specifically with the fans. Like, she has this crazy social anxiety shit. People either get upset with her or support her over it. As an exec, how do you balance both of those things?
I think it's nothing new. I think it's just different because now people have words for these things.
Mm-hmm.
Like narcissist, gaslight, anxiety. Like I said, like how, and not to compare, but like, you know, what would have Twitter have looked like if Whitney Houston had one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Bobby Brown had Twitter. Like it looked nuts, right? I think, but that's what makes good artists, unfortunately, because they are dealing with something that they know how to just put in the music that resonates. Now, how do I maneuver it? I think the hardest part is letting the artist know that they're not crazy. Yeah, no, I think for me, the hardest part is navigating with the actual artist to like, you know, like let them know that like, you know, don't take other people's perspectives to heart. Everybody wants an opinion. Everybody wants to feel like something is going to trigger you or be able to say that. So I think that's the hardest part, is really just making the artist feel comfortable and creating a safe space for them to express themselves. But because man, the fans are so mean to artists, bro. Like it's crazy.
Fucking awful.
Yeah, it's just like, yo, like they're giving you music, like they're giving you a piece of their soul, and they just shit on them all brick. You came outside with a brick. Oh, your career's done. You fell off. Yeah. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like you're supposed to champion your artists and push them to, so you get more. It's just like the quality of life is made better with better music, but then, you know, you want to just tell them they fell off. Like they're for sure gonna fall off. Yeah. Like if they believe it, they're for sure gonna fall off. Yeah. It's tough.
And I mean, in this era, it's so crazy because, you know, back in the 90s, you couldn't just tell an artist that. Yeah. Even if you felt it. You know, if you bought a CD, you know what I mean? You know, you thought the CD was whack. You couldn't go to like Twitter and say the CD is trash. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you had to just, some people, they may sell through 100,000 copies before you realize the album is not good. You know what I mean? Now you drop, it
ain't been out an hour. They're like, Twitter, nah, this ain't
social media, TikTok,
been out an hour. Frisbee.
Yeah,
like an hour in.
It's also easier to listen to music you wouldn't listen to or care about. Right. So you have more negative comments. Like before you went out, I have $12.
Right.
I'm gonna get this CD because I really am interested in this. Now I could pull up any song if I feel like putting a comment on fucking a YouTube page. Yeah. Or open a Spotify album of an artist I probably wouldn't listen to, but I see that's what everyone's talking about on the timeline. So let me go listen to it for free. Yeah. Now I have an opinion about something I shouldn't have an opinion about because I wouldn't have liked it to begin with.
Also, majority of people shouldn't just have opinion on music.
I mean, you can across the board. I guess it's just the value of the opinion. Wow. You can have a shitty opinion about an album if you care specifically about it. Then you should have a valid opinion.
You know what? I'm like a Twitter troll, and like I go like look on like, well, not troll, but stalker. Like I go look at like certain people that like have negative opinions about albums and music or whatever, and I'm just like, I go look at their profile and their photos and like what their living room looks like and like how they like wear their clothes and everything. I'm just like, yo, like you of all people can't have an opinion on music. Like on taste.
You have no taste.
On taste. Yeah. Right? Like
a lot of y'all don't have no taste buds.
All right, first of all, that's not fair because the artists on your roster sell crazy. That's okay for an artist that has like a niche, cliche fan base. Not every one of Summer Walker's fans have taste in putting their apartment together.
I think Black has
you can't do that. You can't only want people that have quote unquote good taste to listen
to have an opinion. Yeah, the only way you can have an opinion or a valid opinion, or credible opinion, is you, number one, have spent enough time with something, and number two, to where you have a vast amount of experiences with other sounds or other music to be able to compare, because you can't compare something.
Putting too much responsibility on art that's supposed to just be talked about.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like me having it's like me at 12 years old having an opinion on Blueprint 2. Like, I don't know what he's saying. Like, it's flying over my head.
Yeah.
I know I like H to the Izzo because it's easy for me to understand, but like, that's it. Like, it's just like you have to go through certain things to be able to have a real opinion. Yeah. And I'm just like, I get it, but like,
I mean, I guess in the valid opinion area, but everyone that listens to it is entitled to an opinion.
Fuck them.
It just, there's no value to the opinion.
Yeah,
you can't say someone that doesn't put their apartment together well shouldn't be able to talk about a Summer Walker.
When you're on the Twitter timeline and you've come across one of these pages, what are the identifying factors that you're looking for that validates their opinion?
Cool pants.
No, I mean, I think you, for me, first thing I go through the timeline and I just see like, do they even read books? Like, like, do they have thoughts that are their original thoughts? And if you don't, then I already know that like you're already like controlled in a way. So like your opinion is not even like a real opinion. Yeah. So, and that's like 99% of people. All they do is just take other people's tweets and just retweet them. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, y'all aren't even real people.
Yo, see, y'all not even real. Like, are y'all even human?
Like y'all are bots. Is somebody in there?
Yeah,
like,
somebody.
Yeah. I agree with them though.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. It takes, I think, for people to connect to certain R&B, especially R&B, I think that it takes a certain type of experience. Like you said, it takes a certain type of just style. Like you know when somebody is going to connect. Like if you go to a Sabrina Claudio show, you can kind of, you know what the audience is kind of sort of going to look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go to a summer show, you know what the audience is kind of sort of going to look like. Go to a black show. Like you're going to know like, okay, these are because this is who Black is talking to. Like they've been through some of these same experiences. They like some of the same things. What's one of the artists that y'all have worked with when y'all went to their live show, y'all were actually surprised to see like a different fan base there? Like I never would have thought that these type of people would be at this show.
Yes.
That's a good one.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had that. I think it's all been pretty spot on for me. Like artists that I work with or just like an artist in general?
Both.
Well, artists in general, when I went to I mean, it was like actually like when I went to the weekends for a show.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I know what he's talking about. I actually know what he's talking about because I'm doing it with him as the music is playing. Like, like I'm living this. I'm living this life.
Yeah. I've taken that pill.
Yeah. Yeah. And I look out in the audience and it's just like,
you too?
Yeah. I'm like, ain't no way.
Do you see me? Y'all look at each other like, yeah, we're here.
And, and honestly too, like, honestly too, SZA too. Her fans are a lot more other girls. Like, you know, like, not say other girls, but I'm trying to think of like the best way to, like, Taylor Swift fans will be at a SZA concert.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
But I get it too.
I think she showed us that with this last album.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes. Like, I remember because, and I tell the crew all the time, like, us being on tour and some of these albums that came out, I'll never forget where we were at when these albums dropped. So we were in Seattle when the SZA album came out, and I'm in the hotel room and I'm listening to it. I thought it jumped into another album. And I'm like, yo, this is SZA? Like, this sounds like
some Avril Lavigne shit.
Yeah, like Avril Lavigne. Like, what the fuck is, like, this is what she, and I was just like, not only does it sound amazing, but it's like, oh, she's in her MTV TRL.
Yeah.
Like, she wants that.
And it's authentic. It didn't feel like it was something that she was trying to contrive.
Yeah, it wasn't forced. Like, it felt natural. And, I mean, look at where she's at with 8-9 weeks, number one.
Yeah.
Shout out to SZA.
Pivot out of music with trains blowing up, Chinese balloons. Do either of you have a favorite conspiracy theory?
I live conspiracy. But give me
top 5 dead or alive.
For me, it's not conspiracy. It's like, it's truth to me. It's different. And that's what's wrong with conspiracy. Like, it's just like, you're like, no, it's dead ass real.
It's real.
It's dead ass real.
So what's your favorite one they deem a conspiracy?
We can talk about Fauci and the vaccines. You want to go there? I don't know if you want to go there.
I would like to, but I want to monetize our YouTube video.
Yeah, so let's not. Yeah,
they will stop all your money if you say
literally
the is wrong.
Which is crazy.
It's nuts.
Wow, that in itself is conspiracy right there. The fact that
of course.
If you say something, if you say it,
if you say
anything,
if you say, bleep this out. I'm serious. Keep this part, but bleep out the word. If you say on Instagram, they'll put the little link no matter what at all, and YouTube will demonetize some of your shit.
Wow.
If it's on text on a post, like I worked a record when I was at Atlantic called Scene, and when we were posting the artwork for it, it would say CDC facts checks about.
Wow.
Not even audio.
I think we might even be too deep now where like this video is not going to get monetized.
Yeah, we gotta stop. Let's stop.
I think even the talk about it
is 3 minutes.
It's done.
And you know what's hilarious? They put the CDC fact check thing on all the posts, right? And then the CDC came out last month. It was like, yo, we was lying about all the facts.
Backtracked everything. They backtracked everything.
You put something on my post that said it was facts, and now you're saying it's not facts.
Bro, listen, I was saying this when all of this shit was happening, and people were killing me for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, just use your
because you put money bags after it.
What?
I saw Maul tweet something about Biden today and put money bags in there.
No, because he sent $500 million. You didn't think that was on brand? He just sent $500 million to Ukraine.
Yeah.
That deserves some money.
So it's money bag emoji.
Yeah,
That's definitely money back. They got the bag.
It is funny for Maul to be like, yo, don't get vaccinated.
Money bag.
Money bag.
I mean, if you want to keep getting this money, don't get like. But we could obviously clean all that up.
Save it for Patreon.
The deal that you made with LVRN.
Mm-hmm.
How did, because y'all are really friends, family, y'all came up together. How did you feel? What was the energy like after the deal was done? And how, from where LVRN started, did you ever see it being what it is today?
Yes and no. I think that specifically I knew that it was going to be something that I archived or I architected in my brain, but how it's shaped was kind of its own form. I had kind of no control over it. Like I knew what I was going to do was going to be successful. How successful or when it was going to be the most successful, that I didn't know. Let's just kind of just stay down, right? That was just the mentality. So let's just stay down. Like, let's just do the work. The feeling of, post-signing deal and, check clears is definitely like, yo, The first thing that I think we text each other in the group chat was like, yo, I need more of this. Like, I need more. Like, we ain't even really did nothing yet.
That's crazy to say.
We ain't even did. Like, we haven't really done anything. Like, we've been lucky a few times. Like, yo, like I want a real run.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want one of them nasty, like the Motown runs.
Yeah.
It's just like, yo,
like what kind of money?
Did this nigga invent music?
Yeah.
Like,
it's real.
Like, yeah, like I want one of them type runs. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Now we have the opportunity to go get Cox. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be in the conversation of signing competitive artists.
Yes.
Right? Like, we had to like grow all of our artists from nothing. Now it's just like we don't have to work as hard. Not to say we don't have to work as hard, but we can throw ourselves in the pool of superstars as well. Yeah. What I need one of them.
We need one of them bad.
What do you think you would prefer more in that regard? Marketing and grabbing some of those superstars, or starting again the way you guys did with Black and Summer, where it's zero views to 1 billion?
Yeah, I've already done it. So I want to just grab one of them.
You just want to be the Yankees.
Yeah, we did
let's
that.
just buy up every superstar.
It's hard work. It's hard work. And you gotta understand, like, I was 18, 17, 19 when like that was like kind of like coming about.
Yeah.
I was living it, right? Like, now I'm just like, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that honesty, because most people, especially on a media run, be like, yeah, that's the thing I love the most, is starting there. I watched Neil Brennan and Dave Chappelle say, every question. Would you guys do Chappelle's show again? No. It was hard work.
Yeah.
Like my life was completely fucked up during that entire time. I don't want to do it again. I'll just go fucking host SNL, do Radio City. Like I worked this hard so I would never have to do Chappelle's show again.
Yeah, exactly.
So I appreciate that. Honestly, most people don't say that. They're like, nah, that was the worst thing ever happened.
Yeah, no, it's like
fucking ruined my life of trying to get someone from 0 to here. Doing that shit again.
Sharing Taco Bell.
Right.
I'm cool. No, we won't do that no more.
JD told me that.
Well, they got the 10-pack with
They
all
got the
tacos
box,
now.
yeah.
It's nasty.
You get more artists, more tacos.
JD told me that the guy that he looked up to was Berry Gordy.
Yeah.
He wanted to be Berry Gordy. Who is the guy that you looked to and was like, I want to do that?
For me, there was a couple of people. Naturally, you look at like a Quincy Jones or a Rick Rubin, you say, hey, you know.
I love the Rick Rubin, what was it, 60 Minutes?
Yeah.
I love that. He was like, I don't know how to play an instrument, but I have taste.
Yeah.
He said he got vibes. That's really what he said.
Vibes.
He said,
I know it's good when I hear it.
Exactly. If I had to pick a trajectory, it would be like a Rick Rubin trajectory because of he's done everything. He's been able to touch a little bit of
Johnny
everything.
Cash.
From Public Enemy to Johnny Cash is like
insane.
Ill, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then in my specific genre that I've become, you know, that I mastered, I would say, you know, there's a multitude of people. There's the late great Chucky Thompson and you know, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Babyface. You know, it's I was really into the music part of it. You know what I mean? And looking at those people saying, yo, like, man, if I could just be in the same conversation of a Jimmy and Terry, or the same conversation of a, you know, LA and Babyface, the same conversation of a Teddy Riley. Teddy Riley is actually, he is the guy. He's the guy who, when I was a kid, I knew that producing was important. You know what I mean? I'm a credit reader. I was a person that like literally studied the CD booklet, studied the cassette booklet, you know what I mean? From front to back, write the addresses down to the labels and all kinds of, you know, I was that guy, which is why I know so much about, you know, what I know, you know what I mean? But Teddy was, it was like an atomic bomb when Teddy Riley, like, dropped out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, for being from Houston, it felt like Teddy Riley dropped out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Right. Where people who probably grew up in New York, you know, who experienced that energy becoming something, you know, have a different story. For us, you know, growing up in these different regions, it's another thing. Like now, with the advent of social media, you know, music is not regional. You know, we're one world. You know what I mean? Where, you know, in the 80s and 90s, it's like, I had to watch TV all day to get to, you know, if I wanted to hear that Method Man record, if I wanted to, they weren't playing that shit in Houston. They weren't playing Wu-Tang Clan on the radio in Houston. You know what I mean? You know, so you get to learn about these different things and develop a taste, you know what I mean? And things you like. And like, oh, damn, I would have thought I would have liked that. Like Tears for Fears, I wouldn't have thought that I would have liked Tears for Fears if I never, you know, if I didn't have to sit through it to get to the, you know, to the Guy video. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But so for me, Teddy was somebody who just, it came out of nowhere. It felt like it was a bomb. You know what I mean? Groove Me came out and it felt like there was nothing. I was like, maybe Groove Me came out, I might have been 10 or 11. And I just remember nothing sounded like that. Right. I just remember being like, this shit was hip hop. The shit was church. The shit was like the Gap Band. It was funky. It was, you know what I mean? It's Teddy playing the guitar. Niggas got the jewelry on. Like, and understanding what Harlem is now. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I didn't know what that was. Right. Yeah. I just was like, yo, what is this? You know what I mean?
He was lifestyle, not just a producer.
Yeah.
Like, his production came with a look.
Everything. It was crazy. It was like, what is this? And now that I know it is Harlem. Right? Yeah. I know that now. It's Uptown. Yeah. But at the time, it's like waiting for the video. Anything that had Teddy Riley on it. Anything. And then you understand, like I said, about remixes, like I became obsessed with remixes because of Teddy Riley. Yeah. Because it was like, you'd hear a song, And back in those days, you knew Teddy was going to do a remix. Like he was like the, he was the guy. You knew that there was going to be a New Jack Swing remix coming. You know what I'm saying? And I was obsessed with it. Like I was completely enamored with what Teddy Riley was doing. You know what I mean? And he's the reason why I am a producer.
Dope. If Virginia is allowed to claim Teddy, let's do a city versus producers. Virginia as a state versus Georgia as a state.
I mean, because he brought the economy there. There will not be a Virginia.
And I think why I bring up Virginia and not like a New York or LA is Virginia to me is probably the best state when it comes to
the richness of talent.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Georgia versus Virginia producers in a versus.
Who takes it?
Yeah,
Georgia.
I don't know, man. I think Virginia.
I'm talking about dog.
I mean, Timberland had the
Dallas,
it might get down
Austin,
to the 20th song.
Dallas, Austin. These people. No disrespect to anybody. They're all legends, and I love all of them.
Yeah.
You know, like Pharrell's one of my favorite people, and what Timberland's one of my. He changed the game.
Missy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, we have to. A lot of those guys wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Dallas, Austin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Teddy Riley, Dallas, Jermaine Dupri, you know what I mean? Like a lot of this shit wouldn't even happen if it were for Dallas, really. Like Dallas don't get the credit he's supposed to get because he was a rock star. You know what I mean?
Shit, Rico Wade.
We doesn't talk about organized noise. You know what I mean? Like,
but also the reason why I say Georgia is that because it keeps going today.
Yeah. Very much so.
Like
your Metro.
Metro's outside. Mike Will's
outside. You know what I mean?
It's
to me, it's no, and now Missy Elliott lives where?
Atlanta.
In Marietta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's not Atlanta.
Well, it's not Atlanta.
Lil Jon. I mean,
Lil Jon.
It's deep, bro.
Like, it's deep, man.
It's deep.
Very deep.
Yeah, I saw Lil Jon DJ in Vegas.
DJ Toon.
Like,
I mean, it's deep, crazy. Dog. Atlanta's deep.
No,
Georgia's deep.
It's Georgia.
It pains me being from up here to have to give you guys the flowers that you deserve. Atlanta might be the greatest music city in history. Detroit, you could definitely put there.
Because Detroit put it on the map.
I don't think anything really compares to what Georgia
music, in modern music, yes.
But not even because it's been so long. Not just modern before that. Just Atlanta has been. It's shaped everything.
Atlanta's losing the ball a little bit.
Yeah, and you understand, man.
To who though?
I don't want to dive into that.
Yeah,
I don't think Atlanta's losing the ball. It's just such a wide market now that these new artists that come out, you're like, they're from where? Like, because of the internet, you can be from the most random town on earth and pop. Whereas before, so much was focused on major markets.
You had to go to the market. You had to go to New York. You had to go to LA. You had to go to Atlanta.
So I don't think
it's got some in the water right now, man.
But they are. I mean, Yo Gotti is one of the best executives.
Water right now. Yeah. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, Atlanta's quiet.
But why do you say that? Why do you feel like that?
I mean, 21 Savage just did an album with Drake. So
I mean, yeah, but we know our mainstays. But again, Atlanta's like known for having a hot one every summer.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't had one in a while.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, and I hate to say this on camera because I'm repping Atlanta, but I have been thinking about it. I'm like, yo, like.
No, but it's good that you say that because one, I mean, like we go back to people that can say that would have to be somebody like you that's really like making the music and really from the city. So if you feel like that, I want to know why. And if you're saying like because you haven't had one of those summers in a while, you talking about as far as new artists, like
new artists, like come on,
what's the new wave?
We got the Future,
you talking about the new wave?
Yeah,
what's the new wave?
I mean, like I fought with Baby Drill. Like I like some of the new guys like that's coming, but like I don't know if it's gonna go all the way.
That's
what I'm saying. Like
Baby Drill is what made me officially feel old.
Yeah,
really.
It's one of the biggest records, and I don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
But again,
even things I didn't like, I understood why they would pop. This I just don't. I don't know.
Let me tell you why.
Says more about me, not him.
actually, Mal, I just thought about it, and I know why. Because we haven't, as much as we have new artists, we haven't had like new super producers yet. Like,
I agree with that.
Like ATL Jacob has a very strong wave right now.
Yeah,
but I think
love ATL Jacob.
Yeah, but I think that like the presence and the celebrity around him hasn't really caught up to like, what he's actually done.
Mm-hmm.
Which as versus like when we kept one every summer, it usually came from either a really hot label or a really hot producer.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that like we figure out a way to kind of get back into that groove. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when Southside was moving, you know what I'm saying? He gave us what he was giving us. Metro was giving, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, Mike, like we always kept one in the chamber, but we don't really have a young, as versus in Memphis, they got a few of them. Like Tay Keith is still like bringing them out.
Yeah.
Was the guy who did the Glorious song, Hit Kid guy?
Hit Kid,
Yeah, he hard.
Hit Kid been going for
You know what I'm saying?
like
Memphis they got something right now.
Yeah, they got a way. They definitely have a opportunity to the next few years can be theirs for sure.
Yeah. And we can stay in the verses category. I don't want to do your catalog versus someone else. I want your catalog to battle itself. Circle Marquise Houston versus Pressure Ari Lennox.
Wow. I'm gonna go with Pressure.
Why?
Because it was unexpected. It was a record that I feel like Circle. I was in a stride that then I had a proper sound, and anybody who had caught any whiff of that sound at that time had a hit. You know what I'm saying? I think Pressure kind of came out of nowhere. It was like, Ari Lennox with the single, and it goes gold, and it was like her first certification. Her first top 10 record. Like, I just think that there was a lot of firsts with that. You know what I mean?
I like Pressure from an optic standpoint because it was like a slow build. When was the last time you had a slow build on a number one record?
We watched it grow.
Because now shit just hits like one day it's at 100,000 views, then it's at 1 billion the next day. It's like, all right, Let's Get Married versus Don't Forget About Us.
Yeah, damn.
That's tough. It got to be Let's Get Married though. That's a wedding anthem.
I know, but Don't Forget About Us.
You know how many niggas get married every day?
Yeah, they do.
Like they coming out the Let's Get Married.
And Let's Get Married because you're right. Culturally, it's gonna.
Oh, I'm like a Mariah stan, so I'm stay with Mariah.
I'm with you too. Don't forget about us.
It doesn't matter when it is, where it is,
Yes,
what song it is. I'm gonna pick Mariah.
Confessions Part 2 versus Burn. And I have a follow-up. Confessions 1 versus Confessions 2.
Okay, so for me, it's Burn out of the first.
Yes. I'm with you too.
First one.
Burn is one of my favorite R&B songs ever.
Video is so hard.
Record, you know what I mean?
Confessions 2 is hard.
Confessions 2 is hard.
Burn might be one of the greatest R&B songs ever.
Burn is just a special, like writing, like written. You know what I'm saying? It's just to me, it's a special. It's more special to me.
Was that a metaphor and a chick had maybe burnt you that week, or?
Yo, you wow,
sick,
bro.
Asking a man if he got burnt.
Yo, sick work, bro. It's sick work.
Wow, bro.
What?
Wow.
We're in the middle of a verses, Mo.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Is it Confessions 1 versus Confessions 2? I gotta go with Confessions 2, even though we wouldn't get Confessions 2 without the story of Confessions 1.
Yeah.
Confessions 1 is funny because how it even happened was I had to go to the dentist and Jermaine was having writer's block.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm at the dentist getting my teeth pulled, he's driving around LA trying to, see some shit. And he said he saw this Beverly Center sign and was like, I'm gonna write a song about that. Then we get back to I'm thinking I'm gonna get my teeth pulled and go right back to the studio. Didn't realize I was gonna be out for like 3 hours, 4 hours. So I'm popping Vicodin, go to the studio with him, and he's telling me,
man, bro.
Confessions off the Vicodin.
Sick.
Writing anything off Vicodin is
and we go to the studio and we start this process, and literally, like, the whole story came, but it's just us talking. And then I ended up singing a demo with like gouge in my mouth, half Vicodin.
Wow.
Do you still have that?
No.
Do you still have the demo?
Oh yeah, Jermaine's demos. We have the demos. Every demo I was saying for Usher, I still have.
Was there any type of marketing in you and JD's brains when writing Confessions? Obviously with Usher and
No.
Everything that was going on.
No,
we Chili, like
we didn't. Really,
was it a happy accident?
Yeah, it was an accident. But let me tell you what Confessions 2 was really about. It was R. Kelly had Ignition.
Yeah.
So Ignition 1 had came. There was a teaser of Ignition 1 at the right. Oh no, I'm sorry. Ignition came out, the first version, right? And at the end of Ignition 1, he teases Ignition 2.
Yeah.
So this back in the day, we would still get 12-inch singles. We get record pool. So we got the record pool, and we like, of course, I know it's not, R. Kelly, we know that he was that nigga. So it's not, I get it, and we don't want to,
he's a piece of shit.
He's a dirtbag, but in this conversation,
I've tried to go this whole conversation about R&B without mentioning him. Yeah. But this particular, situation, we have to acknowledge he was moving the needle, right? In Ignition,
he was the needle.
Was popping. Exactly, he was the needle. And at the end, when you had the previews of the remix, like we were waiting for that. It was like everybody was waiting for what part 2 was going to sound like.
Yeah.
And then he puts out part 2 and it was blowing up. So I know that for us, we felt like the story wasn't finished. And we were like, well, how are we going to finish the story? It was like, well, I mean, shit, R. Kelly just put out the part 2. Let's write part 2. You know what I mean?
I never even really put that comparison.
So,
and it's kind of the same thing where Ignition Remix is the one, and people kind of forgot about Ignition.
Yep.
And Confessions, even though I like part 1 better, most people don't.
I think
go to that low. Confessions 2
lyrically, it's a better song.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's just a better song.
It's a better song lyrically, I think. Story wise,
too.
The chorus is insane.
All that. Yep.
Yeah, it's weird. I never even put those 2 and 2 together.
And so we like part 2. And then I'm like, what's part 2 gonna be about? And he starts telling me the story. Like, he has a baby. And I didn't realize that why he was so excited about the story was because it was his story. You know what I mean? So he's telling me the story. I'm like, this is coming out of your head just right out of top of your dome. But no, but it really was something that happened.
Yeah.
So then he told me the story. Then he told me the actual story of like how he found out about his daughter, and like, his daughter's mother had put the birth certificate and the pictures in the mailbox, and his mom went to go check the mailbox, and he's in the pool kind of chilling. He's out drinking a Corona in the pool. I must have dozed off, and then the pool, had you like on a float, and the float hits the edge of the pool, and he looks up, and his mom is standing over like, yo, what is this? And it's like an envelope with pictures and
that's sick.
Like, you can imagine laying in your pool.
Imagine being on the pink flamingo and
open. You look up. It's a birth certificate.
So he's telling me this. He tells me the whole story, and I'm just like, damn. And he's like, I got the story. So and that song came so fast. Like that song came fast.
After that type of
that
the mom's waking you up with a birth certificate from a girl saying she just had your kid.
Yeah.
Wow, work. Yeah. That's crazy.
That song came so quick. So I like Confessions too because the energy.
Yeah,
it's just so much energy behind it. And we see it live. It's like,
yeah, I gotta catch Usher in Vegas. I have to.
You have to.
It's really definitely gonna do that. Who has the bigger fumble, Liddell or JD?
Lindell.
That's a great.
Okay, was that Liddell? Lindell.
Lindell or Jermaine?
That is a great fucking
the biggest
question.
fumble.
My God, but which fumble was bigger?
Oh man, this is hard.
Is it though?
It's not really.
It's not. JD's still JD.
The Lindell definitely had.
But Lindell's still Lindell. Don't do that.
No, Lindell's not Lindell.
Lindell got the burgers going crazy. Got the burgers going crazy.
I'm just laughing
because motherfucker.
I'm laughing because there's always a joke. There's always a joke about Jermaine and Janet. And everybody, we always joke about it. But yeah, Lindell definitely had the biggest fumble. I mean, look, I mean,
he fumbled.
There's no question.
I'm
talking about. He that's terrible.
Super Bowl for games.
Yeah. He had the biggest fumble ever.
It's Lindell. We love you.
And his history, like it'd be one thing if you fumbled it and nobody could Google it.
Yeah.
Like you could Google the fumble.
They bring the
and
prompt
really
picture up every
watch
year.
the history. Is terrible.
Yeah. And at least JD, it was good to see him in the Janet doc. Like they still
No, they tight.
You know what I mean? So
it's
like it was he fucked up, he fumbled, but we still friends though.
And really you let them tell it, it was really just time, bro.
Yeah.
Like if you really look at the story, it's really time. Like she's off doing what she's doing. He's off being Jermaine Dupri because he was Jermaine Dupri.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And still is.
You got to find that time to try to, it's hard, man. It's hard to do that shit when you like. When y'all both are like super successful. It's some hard shit to do.
We all have that one homeboy that lies to his friends that like, yo, she's feeling me. Like, I think this girl likes me. When Jermaine came to y'all and was like, yo, I think Janet Jackson is feeling me.
I was actually.
Did y'all laugh at him?
I was actually there. I was there when it happened.
To be like, nah, she probably just wants to work with you.
No. You don't know what I'm saying. Me and Jermaine did a remix for Someone to Call My Lover, right? And like I said, remix business was a thing. I mean, they flew us to LA. We was sitting at the Peninsula. We was at Larrabee. We had Larrabee booked out for 3 days. You know what I mean? So, I remember the first day. I got to the studio. I got to early too, like 11:30, and me and an engineer guy named Brian Fry just waiting. Jermaine pull up. Hour go by, 2 hours go by, 3 hours go by. No Jermaine. You know what I mean? Nobody could get him on the phone, whatever. So I'm like, well, let's start something. You know what I mean? So I started dealing around with some chords or whatever. We listened to the master, and we kept a few things that was on the master. And then Jermaine comes, and we start working. And I go to the bathroom. I'm going to the bathroom. Walk past his lounge, go to the bathroom. To the lounge, the door's open, and Janet's just in there chilling, like She didn't really come to work. I didn't expect to see her because we were doing a remix.
Yeah.
So I thought we just do remix,
take her vocals,
remix, send the tape on in, whatever. But the fact that she was there, I was like, why is she here? You know what I mean? And she went in the studio. She wasn't like, overseeing the remix.
Right.
She was just in there chilling. I'm like,
that's cold. I got Janet in the lounge just kicking and chilling.
Boy up to?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He up to something. You know what I'm saying? And literally after that day, it was like they were together. It was like.
Wait, he was with her. He was with her in the lounge?
No, he was in and out. So like me and him was in the room, and he would dip, and then he'd come back in the room, and I went to the bathroom, and I realized why he was dipping. He was dipping to go, to the lounge with her. You know what I'm saying?
Who you are. Imagine dipping to go to the bathroom, and Janet Jackson is just sitting.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. Wow. But I'm like, just it was just one of them things, kind of like. And I think that it had been building up. They probably had talked before. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And which is probably how we got the remix in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing I know, it was like
just together.
Crazy. Tough catching up with him because Jed said that schedule was super tight after that. It was like we had to figure out when we was gonna work. You know what I mean? And they were together for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were, So that's why I still love there. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think they'll ever not like be cool.
All right, man. Well, we want to just let y'all know we're looking forward to more legendary shit from y'all, man. Like,
man.
Super proud of y'all. Proud that we, have this relationship with y'all. Proud to call y'all friends. Can't wait to get some new music.
Yes.
And can't wait to find the next, I guess, superstar that y'all gonna just,
absolutely
put the LVRN sauce on.
That's the goal.
More hit records.
Yeah.
Continued success to both of y'all. And I'm just happy for y'all, man. Like, honestly, like,
thank you.
You having so many years in the game, doing what you doing.
Yeah.
Justice, the LVRN doing what y'all doing, the things that y'all building over there. It's phenomenal. Thank y'all for kicking it with us. And we'll talk after this.
New Black album.
New Black
album.
Yeah, coming soon.
This
has been a new episode of New Rory and Mal podcast with our guys Bryan Michael Cox and Justice. Can I say your last name?
Justice wears cool pants. You know what I'm saying?
Justice wears cool pants. Mr. Cool Pants.
Yeah. Mr. Cool Pants.
We'll talk to y'all soon. Be safe. I'm that nigga. He's just ginger. Peace.
NewRoryAndMal.